I'm Dr. Robin Sadie, and I wanted to show you what virtual tutoring looks like. In the last year, a lot of tutors and their students have been forced online because of the pandemic. Although the year has been incredibly challenging for many reasons, a lot of people have found that virtual tutoring offers some advantages that we hadn't thought of. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about what those advantages are. Let's say we were learning about ACT science, which is my personal favorite. It's a lot easier on a computer to mark up the question and show it to the student. When I'm working side by side with a student, sometimes it can be difficult to both write the way I would write, but also show it to the student if they're sitting across a table or even just next to me. So what that might look like is, let's look at question 1. According to figure 1, the mass of cheese remaining at 4 hours was closest to which of the following values? We always circle the name of the figure. And the other important information here is the mass of the cheese remaining and 4 hours. The other words, according to, unnecessary and distracting. Let's cross them out. Closest to which of the following values? Also unnecessary. Closest just means our answer that we get from the graph might not be the exact value, but it should be near enough to one of the answer choices that we shouldn't be spending too much time staring at the graph trying to find the exact place that the bar or line matches up. So I can even cross out these words too. Now the question's a lot easier to approach. Figure 1, the mass of the cheese remaining at 4 hours. If you glance at figure 1, you even see that mass of food remaining is the y-axis. So we can even cross out the words mass and remaining because that's just the y-axis. It's just asking us to look at the thing on the graph. We don't need to consider those words. So we're left with figure 1, cheese, 4 hours. Figure 1, cheese, which is the white bar, and here's time, so here's 4 hours. We look at the white bar right here. We see it ends right about here. Look over to the y-axis. And we end up right in between 180 and 190, about 185, which is answer choice C. When you eliminate the unimportant words, it makes the question a lot easier to answer. And so the tricky part is just figuring out which words are important and which words are unnecessary. It's a lot easier for me to show students this in real time on a computer screen than it might be on a piece of paper sitting next to them. Another advantage of virtual tutoring is that I can flip back and forth between different windows. And that can help me in a couple different ways. I can take notes for the student. Let's say we came up with a math or a science concept that they needed to review. I might write something down like area equals pi r squared, or pH of 7 is neutral. I can type out notes so that I make sure the student has the information correct, and it's a little bit easier to read than my handwriting. I can then email the student this PDF when we're done working, along with the PDF that I had marked up at the same time. It's also easier for me to access my own notes. I keep track of how the students are doing, so I know where our tutoring should go next to help them improve the most. So I might want to switch to another window and jot down some information like the student scored a 26 on science, felt rushed. So I know that in this session we should work on some time management skills, and then in the next section I'll look at how the student did with those time management skills. It helps me keep track of progress as we go. The last way that virtual tutoring can be advantageous is that I'm a lot closer to Google. I'm very good at some things. I'm not very good at drawing diagrams. So if a student needs something illustrated, like a science concept, a math concept, even a grammar rule that needs a really good example to illustrate it, rather than sitting and trying to draw a diagram myself that may or may not look like what it's supposed to look like, I can just quickly Google a really great diagram or illustration that someone else has already put up there. Additionally, if a student needs some extra practice, maybe they need to practice solving two-step algebra equations. Instead of sitting and coming up with the questions while the student's waiting, I can grab a worksheet that's out there on the internet and we can either go through it together or I can assign it to the student to do on their own time. These are just a few ways that virtual tutoring can be really productive. And a lot of students and tutors have found success in the last year on the computer.